28th of September 2023. The world wakes up to discover that the Sycamore Gap tree has been felled. Instantly, the world is in mourning. This was an extremely special location to many people for many reasons. It was the site of proposals, a film location. It's really difficult to summarise why a location like this draws millions of people from across the world, and it's so special. But it was, and it never will be the same again. And today, as I record this, in Yorkshire, the same thing is about to happen. Because in Calderdale, we're about to literally lose Wuthering Heights. We are about to lose Brontë Country. There is a plan to build England's largest wind farm on the moorland. It will change the landscape forever. I can tell you about the damage it's going to do to the wildlife, the ground nesting bird and the ancient peatlands. But for me, it really does go further than that. Our landscapes are precious, they're magical. When I started this ride, I didn't even know this wind farm was planned, and still I stumbled upon everything that connects the surrounding landscape, the people, the poetry, the history to this moor. Losing this moor will have a far-reaching impact on everything around it. What made me relate so much to this issue is meeting the people out on the trails, the people who travel from all over the world to be here, the people who are only here because they've read a book or a poem, or they'd even watched a movie because it was escapism. And if we're going to say they're doing it under the guise of saving the planet, which I don't think anyone's that naive, but let's say they were, then what are we saving if there is nowhere left for us to escape? Down below, I'll leave a link to various petitions, to various websites where you can find out how you can help out with this cause. And at the beginning of this day, I had absolutely no idea that they were building this wind farm. So I started my ride, like many others, blissfully unaware. I'm ready to go out and see this landscape for the first time, and unfortunately, what could be the last time. Today's adventure sees us inbound to Hebden Bridge on a Northern Rail train. It's at this point I thought it'd be a good idea to try and record an intro. Today's ride is going to be absolutely epic. It turns out that Northern Rail trains are a terrible place to record an intro. They're very noisy, so I'll never do that again. Departing the train, I pondered the meaning of this sign.
There you go. Sometimes the wrong train takes you to the right station. I have no, it sounds good, but I have no idea what that means.
It's a short ride to Heptonstall Road where our adventure begins.
Unfortunately, there's no time even for a warm-up, because getting to Heptonstall means going up no matter where you're starting from, because it is a big hill. So yeah, I don't want to do this, but for the video, let's go. Here we are, Heptonstall. It's a canny ride up to Heptonstall. No messing. Hey.
For such a small village, Heptonstall has a huge history. With its century-old buildings and its cobbled streets, it is a must-see location. In fact, it's popular for the filming of period dramas. The buildings have their unique appearance due to the loom weaving industry that was massively popular in this area. The windows needed to let lots of light into the rooms so the loom weavers could weave their magic. It's also the location of Sylvia Plath's grave, and whose poetry is known across the world, some of which depicts the moorland we're going to visit here today. Heptonstall is steeped in history. It's a site of the Battle of Heptonstall from 1643 during the Civil English War. There is way more about Heptonstall than I can get into here today in this video, so I really do recommend you go and look it up and pay it a visit. There is only one way to leave Heptonstall, and that is downhill. So into Hardcastle Crags I travelled, and with my eyes set on the next destination of this tour, there was only one way to go again, and that was up.
Well, I can tell you now, I already just have a sense this is not going to be a lot of fun. So that was quite the climb, and it feels like we've only just gotten up here. But now it's time to head down, and it looks like quite a good descent if you're into that kind of thing. So yeah, let's go. Must be like a lot of swallows or swifts down there. Swallows, it's swallows, isn't it? A lot of swallows down there, just getting the bugs. Unfortunately, what goes down must come back up again. We won't think about that because what's coming up here is going to be, it's going to be well worth it. I can hear the sound of running water. I think that means we're going to be at the spot. And oh my God, I'm getting my first look. This looks absolutely amazing. Oh my God.
Welcome to Lumb Falls. This is an iconic West Yorkshire wild swim spot. It's steeped in history and is extremely photogenic. It's connected to the famous poet Ted Hughes, who's notable for his poem 6 Young Men, which was based on a photograph taken in this location. And in fact, he's the very same Ted Hughes whose name was scratched from Sylvia Plath's gravestone, which we visited earlier on in Heptonstall. Just another example of how everything here is interlinked. The tree's canopy offers shelter from the strong summer sun, and you could even have a dip in the water. But do know that there is no easy way in or out of here, so if you came on a bike, you are most certainly pushing it out, so be prepared.
Well, that was a cool location, I would say. Be prepared to dismount and push a little bit to get to it. There's just like lots of discarded clothes around here as well. It's pretty disgusting. Come on, people. That man, that's not good. That's just like so overgrown. Oh, where are my sunglasses? Oh, they're here. Oh, I thought I'd left them at the waterfall. Now I'm getting eaten. Bugs are biting me. Right, let's go. Okay, I'm paying quite the price for looking at that waterfall. A big price.
And finally, I was back on the road and ready to make a beeline towards Haworth. But there was a lot to see along the way. There was, of course, Walshaw Moor, which has these strange things littered all over it. And I met an extremely friendly walking group who were more than happy to explain to me what it was.
Shooting butt.
This is position number 0. There'll be other ones, and people will pay a lot of money for the privilege of standing here and have somebody release birds, which they then shoot.
They shoot them.
As from the glorious 12th.
After solving that mystery, I descended down past Lee Shore Reservoir and made my way directly into Haworth.
It's on you.
Thanks.
And welcome to Haworth, where even cycling up the main street can get you praise, which, by the way, I secretly loved. The cobbled main street now draws tourists, but once echoed with the cries of hardship and disease. In the 1800s, Haworth had one of the highest mortality rates in England, worse than many of the slums in London. The village graveyard was so overcrowded that corpses were buried on top of each other, just inches below the surface. The rainwater soaked through the graveyard into the well pumps, and the villagers drank the water laced with the dead. The Brontes themselves weren't spared. All 6 siblings died young, many from tuberculosis. The surrounding moorland walks will take you to the top of the Withens, a ruined farmhouse which inspired Wuthering Heights, and that is where I have my eyes set on. But before that, I would make a stop at Bronte Falls.
So I decided not to sit and eat in Haworth because it was very busy. And it's a Tuesday today, everything's closed. So I've come to the Bronte waterfalls. That's a really peaceful place, very tranquil. It's very popular though. Yeah, there's 3 couples here, so there's 6 people here. It's a Tuesday in the middle of the week, so normally when I'm in remote areas you don't see anybody, and I've seen lots of people hiking on the way here as well. Getting the bike down was not easy. I had to get up and push it for quite a bit of the way. So yeah, so I would say if you come here on a weekend, I can only imagine how busy it's going to be, especially if it's a nice day. So I'm just going to enjoy my oats. I'm going to watch the waterfall. The walk out from the falls is it's just not good. It's definitely not bike friendly. So if you're going to do this, just be ready to push and carry and sweat and cry a little. Right, come on onwards. Up to Wuthering Heights. Oh lordy, it's Bridleway again. Oh, sweet, sweet Bridleway.
I was ecstatic to be back on a bridleway again, to be able to ride, but unfortunately that feeling was short-lived when I came across this sign. It was informing me that they're going to build a huge wind farm on this location that I've been working so hard to get to all day, and I was so excited to see, and this is the reaction I had instantly after having read that sign.
So it's an interesting one, isn't it, that they're thinking about building a wind farm up here on Wuthering Heights. There's like a saying in Yorkshire, it's like wuthering out there, absolutely wuthering. Probably butchered that, but it basically means bad weather, extreme weather, you know, strong winds. And this is literally, you know, where the name Wuthering Heights came from. And we are now in Wuthering Heights territory, and there's some sort of irony now that they want to build a wind farm here. I was just speaking to a couple who've come all the way from New Zealand. Imagine the scenery they've got in New Zealand. They've come from New Zealand to look at this, and well, we're just going to build a big wind farm on it. It's just crazy to me. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below if anyone actually watches this one.
And after those thoughts, finally the time had come to arrive at the star destination, Wuthering Heights. Top of the Withens is a ruined farmhouse perched high on the moors above Haworth. It's widely believed to be the inspiration for Wuthering Heights, the bleak, fictional home in Emily Bronte's novel. The building itself doesn't match the book's description exactly, but the setting does. Wild, remote and windswept. Wuthering. I met these two sat beneath a tree taking in the landscape. There's a plaque in English and Japanese at the ruins confirming the site's connection to the novel. It's a place where fact and fiction blur. The Bronte Society says the atmosphere here captures the spirit of the novel, even if the building doesn't. And I would agree with that. The structure dates back to the 17th century, but was abandoned in the early 1900s. And it made me laugh that inside the house somebody has bricked up this window, and if you have any knowledge of the novel Wuthering Heights, you'll know exactly what that means.
Yet again, another absolutely amazing view. From the descent. This is the rugged beauty of the Pennines. This really is Wuthering Heights.
As the ride drew to a close, I have to admit I spent a lot of time just going over old ground, thinking about what I'd learned up on the tops, how we were going to lose this landscape, about the people I'd met from all over the world here. I'd met people from America, New Zealand, Canada, people who travelled all over England, just to be here and just to see this location. At this point, it wasn't lost on me how everything was interlinked, how Sylvia Plath, who I'd found in Heptonstall, her poetry eloquently described this landscape. Ted Hughes, whose plaque was located at Lumb Falls, was very familiar with the area, and his writing can be used to describe what's around here. And then of course there's Wuthering Heights. The reason that 90% of the people I met on my ride were there on that day, people living out their fantasy, people just enjoying visiting the location. And personally, I'm not that close to this literature, but as somebody who does have works of fantasy that are very close to him, I understand how important it is to people to be able to anchor that fantasy somewhere in the real world. And this is where many people can do that. If we take this away, we are losing something really special. That's what this location and the Sycamore Tree Gap have in common. Normally at this point I'd cut back to myself to talk this out, but I don't think it's appropriate on this occasion. I'd just ask that if you've made it this far, maybe consider sharing this video just so somebody can at least see the first part of it. We need to make these hills too hot to handle. We need to make it so that the people that are planning to do this don't want anything to do with this project. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.